I felt very supported by Mike Eaton, as I mentioned. He was in San Diego, right near my house, and then Stu Kenson was making my boards at Rusty, and so I was riding for Rusty at the time, and I would be able to watch Stu in the shaping room just bang out boards, and he both he and Eaton made everything. They'd make, I mean, Eaton was making Pete Townsend boards, still tiny little things, and he's making guns for Hawaii. He was making paddle boards. He's making longboards. He had zingers, all these rad bottom contours. Stu was sort of the same. He was deeply affected by the Campbell Brothers Bonzers and different things along those lines, and longboarding, super high performance longboards with Stewart. And so Stu was all over the place, just loved surfing, shortboards and longboards. And Stu would let me use his shaping room. And so I was just in that room with, I mean, he would have so many templates and so many tools to be able to make all the different kinds of boards that were fun for him to experiment with. And so that was my first time in actually shaping, was in his room. And I wish I'd kept it, but he wrote me a shitty little handwriting note of 6 things. First, do this, 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 and this, and then said, and don't come out until the board's done, kind of a thing. And he stayed out. Yeah. So I just went in there and just made an absolute propeller. And it was at Diamond Glassing back in the day at Diamond, and with Bob Bocci and the crew there. And, so I had some critique phone calls that came in. Hey, look at that. Which rail do you like better? And so I had a lot, and I deserved it, because they weren't, like I said, I'm a slow learner, I think, and so I just persisted, but the idea of that range of boards, the different styles and different materials and all that stuff was set into me pretty early from those guys. And then as far as laminating goes, that kind of went hand in hand with taking the business real seriously and being the one that was going to answer my phone and all that. It'd be a good, provide service basically to the customer. What that included in my head, a natural progression from that in the late 90s, was to go and own my own glass shops, because I would find myself calling up the glass shop and then saying, yeah, it's going to be done in 2 weeks. And I'd tell my customers, okay, it's going to take me a week to shape it. It'll be done in 3 weeks. And it would never be that, So I was like, okay, I want to own my own business. I had a young family, and the perfect storm happened, and I just went for it and bought a shop in San Diego in 2001. And then, like a week into it, I'm like, holy crap, I don't know anything about the procedures and steps and why, and you do this, you don't ever do that, and all those types of things, until I was like, wow, I was already in it. And so I had to, like, again, like college, the only way out was through. So I had to just really hunker down. And Scott Anderson up at Channel Islands in early 2002 gave me a chance to glass Channel Islands. So the glass shop, we got Channel Islands and Rusty all in one day. And so the glass shop started being its own machine, and it started really running well and smooth. So then I could experiment. I immediately wanted to get into the other things. So late 2002, early 2003, that's when I started laminating, I would say, because I liked working with epoxy, mostly because it was slow or sun cure. And it would go off only when I wanted it to. And that was my biggest problem with regular. I couldn't understand how those dudes, the best guys, would just pour a bead, and then, right when they do the last tuck of the lap, bing, it goes off. And like, how do you do that? I could never figure that out. So,
Let me
yeah. So
let me
2003 is when I started laminating.